If you stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Biz the Businessman. I'm back with another episode of Small Towns of Big Dreams. But before we get started, I ask that you subscribe to this channel, like this video if you like it, and leave us some constructive criticism in the comments because that helps the channel get better and it also helps the channel grow. But nevertheless, I'm going to bring on our guest for today, a very special guest, very special guest, Miss Zoë Jackson. How you doing?
I'm well, Marquise. Hi.
Hey, you doing okay today?
I'm doing very well today. It's a beautiful day outside. How you doing today?
It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day, man. I already been busy all day, but I'm starting to slow down a little bit.
hmm
Had to
Same.
make.
You know what I love about us grown folk is
Mm-hmm.
we understand that the earlier our day starts, the earlier it gets done.
That's a fact.
So I'm
That's
on
a
the
fact.
same boat as you. I plan to be done by 3 o'clock
That's
today.
it. That's it. I think 4 o'clock I'll be wrapped up and look, I'll be ready for some basketball a little bit later.
Good.
Good
Good.
deal. Good deal. I know we're both very busy people, so I'm not gonna hold you up. But the first question that I want to know, and I'm sure a lot of people want to know, is who is the real Zoë Jackson?
Okay, Marquise. The quick synopsis answer is Zoe Jackson is a single 27-year-old Black female attorney from born and raised in Camden, Arkansas. I currently live in Little Rock, Arkansas. I've been there for the last 10 plus years. I went to school there and all that. But when you ask me, like, who is Zoe? Because most of you guys know who I am. I've been practicing law for 3 years come September, right? I was really big on social media at first, and then I learned very quickly to get my behind off of there. But I still try to post here and there so you can keep up with my life. So when you
Mhm.
ask who is Zoe, is that enough or you want more? I can always give you more.
Give us a little bit more, just a little bit. Like, who are you as a person?
um, Marquise, who am I as a person? You've been knowing me for a long time. I can't describe myself, can I, Marquise?
You
Who
can,
am
but
I as a person?
to me, ever since I met you, you just always been the same person, sweet, kind, loving, and just a person with a good heart. Always willing to help people. That's the Zoe I know. Is that the correct
Mhm.
characterization of
Yes, I
Zoe?
appreciate that. I hope that's the Zoe everyone knows. I love that. I love that you see me as that and know me as that. And I pray, one of my favorite scriptures these days is do not let your good works be evil spoken of. Do not let
That's
your good deeds be evil
that's
spoken of. And that resonates with me so well these days because it's not God doesn't ask us to be perfect. My mission in life is not to be perfect for you, for me, for God. That's not my goal. But my
mhm,
goal is to make sure that every time I walk outside of my home, people can tell that He resonates in my life. People can
that's
tell
it.
that He is all over my life, that He
Mhm,
guides and leads my life. And so I think that what I get the most out of that scripture is He's not calling you to be perfect, but He is calling you to do your part and to do and be the best version of yourself that you can be. And so that's not always easy, guys, but
mhm,
it's our call. That's our mandate. It is mine. So
mhm.
to hear you say that you've known me to be that in spite of so many adversities, I'm sorry, that I've gone through, I think that that's beautiful to me. I appreciate that. And I pray to God that continues to be who I am to the people who I try to serve daily.
Well, hey, of course, man. I mean, I've never heard a bad thing said about you ever, man. And so that's what I know. That's what I believe. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. But look,
Well, that
I don't
makes
know if
sense.
you realize. I think you really kind of described who you were in that answer because just your answer alone gave me a lot of insight on who you are for
Okay,
sure.
I can work
So,
with it.
so my second question is more a professional question. Like you
Okay.
said before, you've been practicing law here in South Arkansas for the last 3.5 years. As a black female attorney in South Arkansas, last 3 years, as a black female attorney, what kind of challenges have you faced during your time in the legal profession?
Hmm. What challenge have I not faced during my time in my legal profession? Let me premise this by I love my job, okay?
Hmm.
I love what I do. I love my people. this is my call. I've known I was going to be an attorney since I was 8, and that's what I work towards. Okay. I'm not going nowhere. Okay. So let's start with that. But in stating that, there are significant challenges that come with this position. And I could go on and on and on with you about that. So I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
go with my top picks probably.
Mm-hmm.
What are the biggest challenges that I face as a Black female attorney in South Central Arkansas? It takes some of my counterparts, or used to, I will say that it's getting better and better, but it takes some of my counterparts who do not look like me, who aren't the same race as me, who are not the same gender as me, who do not identify the way that I do. It it takes them maybe 2 months to finish a case where I may stay on that case for a year and a half to get the same results.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? So
Right.
let's take that in a broader spectrum, because I'm always going to be very transparent with you, and I'm always going
Yes.
to give it to you very raw.
Mm-hmm.
When people contact my office and retain me, my goal, my staff's goal, is to get that case off of my desk as quickly as possible. As quickly as
Sure.
possible. What can I do to get the result that this client is seeking from me? Right now, before I took your money, I knew that I could assist you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm no longer struggling. I'm no longer like the baby attorney that got to take every case that comes through her door.
Right.
So when you reach my assistant or my legal assistant and you got that free consultation, and they got back with you with that quote, and they
Mm-hmm.
told you it was going to be this amount of money to retain Miss Jackson, that
Mm-hmm.
is really, that's solidifying that I'm about to work for you and I'm about to get
Yeah.
the job done.
Right.
So in saying that, I have a routine and I have a practice where I try to make sure I do that as effectively, as efficiently, as quickly. That is, I when it comes to money, that I'm money is one of my many languages. Okay, and I don't take it for granted, and I don't play with other people's
Sure.
money. So if you retain me for services, we're
Mm-hmm.
working, and when we're having to work, and when we're willing to work as hard as we do, and we have so many other obstacles and challenges that hit us while we're just
Mm-hmm.
trying to work. We're just trying to work. Like we're trying
Right.
to work so we can get you off, so we can get somebody on, and we can focus on them. We're just trying to do our jobs. And
Mm-hmm.
instead of some and people in authority, people in control who have that power, who have the discretion, instead of them allowing us to just work, just
Mm-hmm.
do our jobs, just to get to the finish line, just to work the system together, right? Instead of allowing that, there's constant debacle. Examples might be, it's time for us to go to trial, but the state wants a continuance, or they not even that's not a good example. It's time for us to go to trial, but you just gave me discovery 2 days before trial.
Mm-hmm.
Now I've had this case for 9 to 16 months, probably.
Right.
I thought I had discovery. That's why we announced 4 months ago that we were ready for trial on this date,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when you're facing issues like that, and you have a judge say, "No, you gonna go to trial. You still going to trial. I don't care
Mm-hmm.
if you just got this discovery. You're gonna do the best you can do with what you got. You going to trial."
Right.
That sounds ridiculous to some, and some it's like, hey, that's just what it is. But in the practical spectrum of that, Marquis, okay,
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to me and my clients
Mm-hmm.
trying to get that justice or justification or just get the case done, it's not that simple to say, oh, well, and it's not that simple financially for my clients to say, oh, well, let's just go to trial, because then you have to an appellate process, because most likely we're going to lose that trial because I'm not
Right.
prepared. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's the situation no one should ever find themselves in. It's way bigger than the system now. Um, because the system has gone worldwide. Like we have a president who's not respecting our constitution. So it's bigger than
Right.
the systems that I'm working every day. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a long answer for me to tell you that there are so many challenges, and the thing is, the unnecessary challenges are the ones
Mm-hmm.
that those are the ones that I pray every day, Lord, please just get me on level playing ground.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I know that I answered your question, but like I said, I could talk to you about that forever and ever. What are the biggest challenges? The biggest challenge is what did our ancestors tell us? What did my grandpa tell me and yours probably told you, and my father told me and yours probably told you? You got to work twice as hard to get half as what they got, and that sucks, but it is what it is. But let me tell you something about Zoe Jackson, okay? I'm gonna work 3 or 4 or 5 times as hard, and I'm gonna have 5 to 10 to 50 times more than what they have. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my goal. But
Mm-hmm.
it takes a while to get there. And right now
Of
I'm
course.
in the working twice as hard to get half of what some of my counterparts are getting. So that would be my long answer to
Mm-hmm.
that.
For sure, for sure. And your reputation precedes you. I've heard nothing but good things out of the people that I know that have represented
Mhm.
you. I mean, that you have represented, and the people that I guess keep up with you and know what you're doing. So I definitely think you're doing a good job. Which leads me to
Thank you.
my next question.
Mhm.
Even though I know you go through challenges, I'm sure you get some kind of gratification out of your career also. Could you talk about that? How the positive things affect you mentally also?
Mhm. Yeah. The positive definitely outweighs the negative. My clients, the results that we get for our clients, it outweighs the daily or weekly challenges. The most rewarding part about my job is that at one point in time, I had no authority to do anything for my own self, and I had to lean on someone else. I had to depend on someone else to help me. And now I'm in a position where everyone always needs help, right? But I'm more so in a position to be able to help others in the way that I needed help. So I'm on a higher tier of where I'm needing assistance. But when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to fighting the system where we are, I've been there. I didn't have adequate representation. I did not feel protected. I know
Mm-hmm.
what that feels like. So when I'm talking to you across my desk to see what your end goals are, and you're telling me, hey, this is how it really went down. I'm gonna wait for you to
Mm-hmm.
get my discovery. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
telling you, this is how it really went down, and I need your assistance.
Mm-hmm.
Me knowing, having that empathy, yes, but also knowing exactly what to do to get you out of this mess. Having the mentors that I do to make sure that I get the results. When I don't know, I have people I can lean on who coach me, knowing that I am that representation that they've needed for so long, that our people have needed for so long. We
Mm-hmm.
don't have a lot of us who are willing to actually listen to you as a client
Mm-hmm.
and do exactly what you tell me to do, as long as it's within the realms and the color of the law.
Right.
You are my paying client. I want to get the job done for you. The biggest reward for me is getting it done because
Mm-hmm.
9 times out of 10, I'm gonna get it done. And it's
I know that's
because
right.
God allows for it. This is my calling, and He gives me the best clients. Honestly, like that's another thing. I have great clients. Now, I have probably had to refund 4 clients in the last 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And when I have someone ask me for a refund, here you go. Here you
Mm-hmm.
go. Here you go.
I'm sure you got as
It's
much
just,
work as you can handle.
yeah. It's just not worth the stress for me or my staff. We know that we do the best we can. That's we're always going
Right.
to do our best. So when someone is like that, it's we probably did. We may have messed up, like we might have. But the point that I'm making is that a lot of those times we didn't, to be honest. But that's only 4 out of hundreds of clients that we've
Right.
represented, and so that goes to show that I have a good rapport with my clientele. Word of mouth has been my very best friend in this
Mm-hmm.
industry. My clients go and give me other clients. Zoe doesn't really do nothing. It's my
Mm-hmm.
clients and God. I just work. We just work. We just do our job. So the most rewarding on that part is just my clients. I love my clients. They are good
Mm-hmm.
to me. For real. They are good to me. And I thank God for that. So that's one of the most rewarding as well.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I know here in our community, we always talk about, the injustices and how we kind of get treated. Like you said, they catch a cold, we catch pneumonia, right? So we all know that, I guess, from a surface level, or we all feel it. But I know you being in the legal profession, you probably see it up close. Have you ever saw a case or something came before you that you couldn't believe that your client is actually being charged with something or in trouble with something that there is no way they should be? Like, have you ever seen something that even surprised you as an attorney?
Well, yeah, yeah, because I see it all the time. But what is something that's just
Hmm.
so egregious that it's like,
Hmm.
yes, yes. Let me think of the most recent and then the most significant. The most recent one that I have, like I think it's still on my desk right now. Do you want to know like a quick narrative of what happened, or what
Sure.
do you want to know about it?
Yeah, just whatever. You can speak in general or you can speak specifically.
Let me speak in general. A lot of times they charge all of you guys with the same thing. So let me speak specifically. The example is I have a client and there's a group of 10 other boys who are co-defendants, but there's only one suspect. There's only one individual who should be a defendant. Yet all 10 of you or 11 of you, including my client, are charged with this, right? I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
you guys have heard about that Magnolia shooting that happened, I think 2 years ago. I still have a client now. Okay, well, I had one client. I got that one off, and I got a new client from that same exact incident a few months ago. But there's still been so he wasn't my client until like 4 months ago. Okay, because there's no way my client would have been in jail for the last 3 years and no
Mm-hmm.
adjudication has happened. But he
Of
hadn't
course.
had private counsel, and this young man has been sitting in Magnolia County Jail for 3 years, no trial, no bail. Okay, so he's not been bonded out for something that I've reviewed the discovery on in detail. Okay, my
Mm-hmm.
team has, my legal assistant plus I. We go through a three-stage discovery process. So the first
Mm-hmm.
one is her and I go through it. Well, actually, it's four because first she goes through it. Okay, and this is like even my murder cases. That's like 4 to 10 to 12 hours long of discovery. She
Mm-hmm.
goes through it first. She gets that. She makes me an index and a glossary, and she does me a quick guide. And then I go through it, and then I add whatever I'm going to add. Then we have a discovery meeting with our clients. So about 2 to 4 weeks after you retain us, we have that discovery meeting with our clients. And then
Mm-hmm.
after we have the discovery meeting with you, if it's like a huge case, it's going to take 2 or 3 meetings. We just go in strides, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But once we finish all of your discovery, then we got to go over it again because there's so much that you miss, so many
Of
questions
course.
that you have. Now we don't go over it like all the way in detail. We do a quick glance at everything, see what you got, and then we go through it in detail. And then the last one is when we go through it a third time to go over the strategy. What are we going to do for you in this
Mm-hmm.
case? Should you be thinking about pleading out, or are we going to trial on this case?
Mm-hmm.
My goal is to be the best litigator in South Central Arkansas within the next year. So I'm going to trial on everything if it's triable and
Right.
if my clients can afford it, and a lot of times
Mm-hmm.
even when they cannot afford it. And then if it's not a triable case, and I'm going to be the one to tell you that because like I'm ready, I like to go to
Mm-hmm.
trial. If
For
it's
sure.
not triable, then now we have to navigate and see what's the best offer for you. What is the
Mm-hmm.
best deal for you? What are we trying, what is the goal for you given the evidence in front of us? So
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know how I got on that. I know that we were talking about though how what are some things or some things that I noticed that are just so egregious or terrible?
Mm-hmm.
That's one. That particular case, I was giving you a specific example about the Magnolia shooting. You may know about it, and y'all know
Right.
about all those boys who were involved. And there's still some. There's my client plus I think two other individuals who are still incarcerated, and they already know the guy who actually did it has already pled out, guys. Okay, he's already
Mm-hmm.
pled out. So hopefully my client will be taken care of within the next. We had trial scheduled for last Thursday. The state continued it. Thank God. And that's good. If you don't know anything about that, on the state,
Mm-hmm.
and something I do want to give a quick little fun fact about. When it comes to these cases, you guys, never allow a continuance. I am the non-continuance queen. That's what I would probably categorize myself as. I'm serious. Like, no continuances, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Send me to court. Send me. It's time to go. It's time to work. There's no
Yeah.
continuances. If you want that continuance, if you need that continuance, then okay. But if you don't, then you make the state request that continuance because most
Mm-hmm.
likely they don't have what they need, right? They
Yeah.
don't have those lab results. They don't have their witnesses in order. They haven't subpoenaed their witnesses for any pretrial hearings that you may have. Like they're not ready, most likely. Okay, the state
Mm-hmm.
has 100,000 cases to be worried about. So the
Mm-hmm.
quicker that you try to get adjudicated in your case, the better for you. Quit asking for those continuances, y'all. Quit being scared to go to court.
Mm-hmm.
Go, get it handled, get it done,
Mm-hmm.
on to the next. Okay. So that's
Gotcha.
one example, though. I just want to give y'all that quick fact because especially if you're in jail, if you're incarcerated, they have 9 months to keep you without a trial. And if you're not in this way, I can go away in detail. I'm sorry, y'all. But just keep that in mind. Do y'all's research on that. Quit getting continuances. Go to trial if
Mm-hmm.
necessary. If the evidence is not good, start taking these deals and stop making your attorneys go to trial, okay? So that's my
Mm-hmm.
little 2 cents. But yes, that's one
Yeah,
example.
I think that's awesome, man. I think people listening to that will have a lot of confidence coming to you to know the detail in which you go and the confidence, because going through these situations with an attorney, you want to make sure your attorney is confident in what they do and prepared. And it seems like you are that person, man. So I definitely give kudos to you for the way you approach your job because that's very important these days. So anybody looking for a good defense attorney, Zoë Jackson. You see right
Thank
here,
you, Marky.
you got you one right here. Now I want to switch topics just a little bit. Still legal, but just a little bit. I know me and you talked a little bit ago. Me and you had a conversation about wills and trusts because
Mm-hmm.
you do a lot of that type of work too. Also, I know you said there is a program that you have where you can help people out with living wills. Correct? Can you talk to us about that? Basically, I would like for you to tell us how important it is to have a will or a trust, and then also tell us about what you do and how what you have to offer as far as that goes.
Okay, yes, sir, I can. So it's not necessarily a program, guys. To restate that, there's clinics that I usually either host or I attend at least once a month. Really, these days it's once every 3 months. I used to be really in that, and that's another thing. I got to really be more intentional about giving back to my community because I'm just focused on my clients. It's hard, I be tired, y'all. But I'm gonna be much more intentional. And one of the things that I used to be very intentional about, and I still am, just not as often. So you got to catch me is making sure I go to these clinics, making sure I'm hosting these clinics at least once a month. So I will say that right now, my caseload is very, 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 very demanding. However, I'm still finding a way to do one of two things. One, go to clinics that's already pre-existing instead of trying to host my own, or two, hosting my own. So I have one clinic that's coming up in Shreveport that I'm not hosting, but I will be assisting with. And then I have one clinic that's going to be in El Dorado in your city that I think that you're referring to that's coming that I am going to be hosting along with another counselor. And we'll get the flyers out on that. I think, what was that date that I gave you? Was it June 13th?
I think so. I was going to ask you that, but
Yeah, I have to go look at it again in my calendar to see exactly what date it is. But we have set a date. We will be in El Dorado, Arkansas from I think like 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. We're there all day. We'll probably do some pre-registration so that we can be as effective as possible the day that you actually come in. So be on the lookout for that, you guys. I'll make sure I post it probably every day the week leading to it to make sure you
Mhm,
guys are there. But let me tell you the importance of getting there. So when you go to these free legal clinics, a lot of times they offer things from sealing your criminal record to wills and estate planning, like he just mentioned. And he wants to talk about estate planning. Now, I will tell you the clinics that you come to with me are going to cover all of that. So getting anything you need that I can assist you with for free, we will most likely do it for you. Okay. And that goes from getting your record sealed. And that's a whole nother conversation because you guys do know that your record's not really sealed, right? Like that's a whole nother conversation that we need to have another day. But you do want to try to at least get it still dish, if that makes sense. Another
mhm,
conversation for another day. But and also it depends on who you report to. So some well,
mhm,
it gets sealed, but it still can be seen by certain employers depending on what
mhm,
agencies they use to do your background check. So that's I just want to throw
mhm.
that out there to y'all. But it's still good to get it sealed, okay?
Gotcha.
So come to the clinics for free legal advice and for us to do a lot of free legal work for you. The one that's coming up is going to be the estate planning clinic, the one that's in El Dorado. And when it comes to estate planning, that was your question. What is important about estate planning, right? Is that what you asked me?
Yes.
You guys, estate planning is when you get your affairs in order in sum. And when I say your affairs in order, that's making sure that all of your assets, whether it's real property or otherwise, you have it covered. You know where it's going to go and where it's going to be distributed once you are no longer here on this earth. And it's something that our culture, I don't even think we're ignorant of it anymore. At first, I
Mhm,
tried to give you guys, I try to give us the excuse that
mhm.
we were just ignorant and we didn't know any better. And that's still the case for many people. But hopefully, they listen to podcasts like this and they get brought up to date and they hear me and they hear us when we say, do your estate planning. Okay. And you guys, I have a cold. So I'm just now listening to myself like, dang, I still got that
You
cold. So
sound
forgive me.
fine.
Thank you. Thank you. I just remembered. The later in the day it gets. But anyway, when it comes to our estate planning, at first I used to say that we just didn't know any better. But now there's so many, the internet is doing everyone such a service
For sure.
getting the information out to you. It's just if you want to act on it, okay? And for
Mhm,
me, there's no better time than the present. When something is given to you guys, eat. Eat off of
mhm,
that plate. I don't care if you just want an appetizer off of it. You still take something. You take something until you get full, okay? You don't have to take
mhm,
advice from everybody, from all resources. My grandfather always said, "Oh, you don't gotta agree with everything they say. You also don't have to respond to everything they say, but you should take what they say and you should assess it for yourself and decide what
Exactly.
applies to you. What can you use for yourself?" So that's
Mm-hmm.
what I try to practice. That's why I advise anyone to try to practice. So just because you may not, just because people are telling you this, that, just take what you know is good for you and
Mm-hmm.
quit showing a blind eye when we know better, when we know we need to act. Right now, us black folk have to act on our land. I got a case that
Mm-hmm.
just came in the office on Thursday of last week where most likely we're about to, it's an easement. These people have had their property on this man's land for like almost 2 years. Why did you ever, as soon as that RV hit my side of the surveyed land, you need to move, sir. But we don't even know that. Like he didn't even know that he could tell them to move off of his property. He didn't even
Right.
know how much of it was his property. And
Mm-hmm.
then after 7 years, you can't do nothing about it in some instances because they're possessing it, rather through an easement or it's
Mm-hmm.
adverse possession. And so we can't just, y'all, we have to act. We have to get
Mm-hmm.
the knowledge and act. And I'm giving you the knowledge right now, which is
Mm-hmm.
get your affairs in order. You don't want to leave here without having something set for your people, for
Mm-hmm.
your family. And the way that you do that is you get to these free legal clinics, okay? Now you can
Mm-hmm.
retain my office to make you a will or a trust, which I don't really do trust that much. Trusts are thousands of dollars. I have colleagues who I refer you
Mm-hmm.
guys to because it
Right.
takes a lot. But when it comes to wills, beneficiary deed is basically it just covers your land. So if you have a property that you want, a will covers everything, all of your assets. It can even cover your power of attorneys, and you need to get that in order as well. But a beneficiary deed is something that's only like it depends on how much land you have, of course, but it's usually about a 2 to 5 page document, and it's
Mm-hmm.
covering just that real property, just that the acreage or the home. That's what it covers. And you just say, hey, my name is so and I want to convey this to so and so upon my passing. And it's done. You sign off
Cut
on
and
it. So
dry.
everyone signs it. Yeah. And then you give it, you can keep it if you want to keep it in your home. Okay. A lot of people want to still keep it in their safe. Okay. I would advise you to go get that filed. Okay. You have
Mm-hmm.
to get it filed, but actually not after you get it filed, I would advise you to give it to someone to keep for you, an attorney.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't have to. Someone you know is going to keep up with your record and make sure that once you're gone, you don't have to be worried about
Exactly.
that. So that's what I'll say on that. You can come to my office and I'll tell you the quotes you can pay me to do a will for 450 to 1250, depending on how
Mm-hmm.
much acreage you have. But you can
Right.
catch me at these free legal clinics. You can catch certain attorneys at these free legal clinics, and you can get this done for free in a matter of an hour or two, and it's
Right.
done. Okay? It's not as hard. My grandfather said to me, he said, "I'm just gonna die, and they just gonna have to fight each other over it." Who says that? Like, who? Well, sir, are you
Yeah.
serious? So
Some.
some people you can't even. I'm working on him. Okay, he's mine. Okay, I'm not giving
No,
up
I
on him.
get it. I
Now, if
get
he
it.
wasn't mine, I would have been
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, to each
Yeah,
his
that sounds
own.
something like my grandmother would have said.
It was terrible, and I've been trying to get him to create a will literally for almost 2 years now, and that's sad.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I just start doing it myself. Like every time we have family around, I just see who wants the pictures, who wants his car, who's interested in this because he won't do it. But
Mm-hmm.
I advise any and everybody, please don't be like Grandpa. Don't be like Grandpa. Get your affairs in order, please.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome, man. That's a lot of great information. So anyone that watches this, y'all make sure y'all take heed on this information that she's giving you because it's invaluable. So my last question for you, Zoe, what's your long-term goals? Are you planning on staying an attorney forever? Would you like to see yourself as a judge one day? If you're going to remain an attorney, have you ever thought about corporate law, or are you saying, hey, I'm in defense, I like where I am, and I just want to grow in this space that I'm at currently?
Yeah, that's a good question for me because God is dealing with me with that right now. And he's really like, usually I will be able to answer that very quickly for you, and I can tell you exactly what my next steps are.
Mm-hmm.
And if you would have asked me this 2 years ago, my next steps was I was going to be an attorney. By the age of 30, I was going to be a judge. By the age of 40, I was going to be retired. All right. And I genuinely believe that I could do that. That was my goal. And I usually meet my goals. But I don't know that that's what God has for me right now. Do you know who Jasmine Crockett is?
Oh man, I love Jasmine Crockett. I love
I
Jasmine
do
Crockett.
too.
That's my
I
look. I hope she
love
run for
her.
president one day.
Yes, I'm almost sure she will, and I'm almost sure she'll win if she does. And if she doesn't run, it's just because it's just too god dang me
This is
much.
because it's
Okay.
America.
Yes, it's just,
Oh
and
yeah.
you have to care. She's the type person to care for herself, like her self peace, you know. And I don't
Hmm.
know that, but anyway, I brought that up to say that Jasmine Crockett was in the same position that I'm currently in 10 years
Hmm.
ago. Okay, so Jasmine Crockett was in a private firm with for 10 years, and it was her
Hmm.
firm, and she was in Miller County, Arkansas, Bowie County, Texas, for the most part, which is where I am right now. You know, that's mostly my moneymaker
That's
is that area.
represent Dallas, correct?
Yes, and now she's in the Congress as a
Hmm.
representative, and
So are we
uh,
leading up? Is this leading up to you may be looking at running for? Okay, I'm
I
gonna shut up. I'll let you finish. Go ahead.
no, maybe I need to let you finish. Like maybe you need to tell me. Maybe it's God's gonna tell you or tell me through you because I don't know. But what I'm saying is my path is very similar to hers. The
Right.
things that I'm going through, she's gone through. I hope she listens to your podcast because I need you, Crockett. I need your advice. I need you to tell me what to do during these times.
Mhm.
How do you continue to fight injustices when it's coming at you from every angle and it's just you, baby? You
And
are
she's
one in a
fearless.
million.
And she's fearless.
Yeah,
She,
you gotta be to take on a position such as that. So I say that to say, I don't know if I'm being Congress. I don't know if I know I will eventually be a judge, Lord. I hope, I pray. It's
Mhm.
just too much that I need to do. I feel like, but I may not be. So
Mhm.
wherever he sends me, and then my thing right now, Marquise, is I don't even know if I'm staying in Arkansas. I know for
Mhm.
sure I'm going to keep my practice in Arkansas,
Right.
but I just feel like I should be with my female baddie friends in Dallas or New York or DC area, making
Mhm.
210K starting off and
Right.
400 by the next 5 years. Like, I feel like, but it's not about the money with me at all. But I'm saying I could definitely live that life like this,
100%.
And there's nothing keeping me in Arkansas but me and God
Hmm.
and
No
my
doubt.
clients. So right
That's
now,
it.
that's what I'm trying to think is if I'm even going to stay in the South because the South makes things 10 times harder than what I could be getting done in Virginia. You
Yeah.
feel
And
me?
I tell you this, Zoe, and I totally get it. And you wouldn't be wrong if you did it. I will say this, and this is not directly to you, but we need talent here. We need strong people still here because if all the good people leave us, then we're not going to have anybody down here to protect us legally. So, I'll
And that's
just
why I'm
throw
not
that
going nowhere no time soon because God
out.
does
Mhm.
not have me moving no time soon. I'm about
That's
to stay
it.
right there in Miller County, Arkansas, and we
That's
about to
it.
be taking these cases to trial at least once a month. Okay,
I
we're
know
just
that's
gonna keep going, guys. We're gonna keep going in rotation until we can't go no more.
good deal. Well, last thing, Zoe, for anyone that sees this video that may want to contact you for legal services or whatever, what's the name of your firm? Where is it located? What's the phone number? Any other prevalent information where they can reach out to you and your team?
Yeah, so our main office is where I am right now. That's going to be in Pine Bluff, 615 South Main Street. Our office is open 9 to 4:30 every day. My staff is Hope, which is legal assistant, and Naya, who's my office assistant, and then I have an office manager who's on leave,
Mhm.
Miss Letitia. So that's who you can contact. Any of those names at jacksonlaw.co if you need assistance or if you're trying to get in touch with our office. And then, so it's going to be Sanaya, CEDNYA at jacksonlaw.co. It's going to be Hope. You can ask legal questions to her anytime. She will get back with you within 24 hours. That's going to be HOPE at jacksonlaw.co. And of course, me, y'all, I'm terrible at checking my emails, but that's why I have them to help me stay on top of that. But you
That's
can
it.
always email me. Just don't be mad if I don't get back with you within 24 hours. And the email is going to be Zoe at Jackson, so ZOE at jacksonlaw.co. And you guys know we're always going to have free consultations. Just don't keep my people on the phone more than 30 minutes.
Mhm.
And we will get you what you need. Even if I cannot assist you, I promise I will find somebody who can assist you and not just ease you out the way, not just
Mhm.
babysit your case. I will have
Yeah,
someone work for you. Okay.
that's awesome.
So,
That's
yeah.
awesome. What's that phone number?
Say that again.
Your phone number at the
Oh, the office number. I'm sorry. It's 501-271-2792.
Okay, that's great, great, Zoe. Well, Zoe, man, it's been a pleasure, man, a pleasure. Look, you got me pumped up over here. I'm excited, man. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for your future. I'm gonna definitely keep an eye on you. You know how to contact me. So if there's anything I can ever do to help you, let me know. And if you ever decide to run for office, I want to be the first check that comes to you and the first volunteer that you get.
I love you for that, Markeith. I've enjoyed you so much. Thank you so much for having me, honey.
No problem. Anytime, man. You enjoy the rest of your day. Get back. I see you already comfortable, so I know you're trying to get home. And I guess we'll talk soon.
All right. You have a good one, Markeith.
All
Bye,
right. See you
guys.
soon. Bye-bye. Man, what a great interview and great information, man. These are the type of people that we need in our community that's going to stand up and fight for us. So remember Miss Zoë Jackson, whenever you have some legal needs, I think she'll be a great person to contact. But, I don't keep you all after the shows. So if you would like and subscribe to this channel, definitely helps the channel grow. And if there's any comments you would like to leave, please leave in the comments so we can check them out. If you got any comments or any tips for Zoe, please leave them and I'll definitely pass them to her. But you all know my favorite saying, when it's time to go, it's time to go.